Morning, good morning. How are you doing today? Just getting ready for the day. Hopefully, you guys are doing the same. Per the description, or in the case that you didn't read the description, if you're in business, drop. Well, first of all, just say hello, say good morning. We got to get in a better habit, if you will, of greeting one another. Good morning, buenos dias. Uh, if you know a different language, I think it's in German, it's Guten Tag, maybe. I don't know, I can't remember. But say good morning, where you're watching from. And if you have a business, drop your contact information so we can share it with the folks. Uh, just trying something new. Calling this office hour before the opening, if you will, for 9 a.m. before we get started. And tend to find some business folks that are typically out and about or preparing for the day. So always good to chop it up, maybe glean from one another, or again, just saying hello. So if you have any questions, comments, or anything of that nature, drop them in. We'll make sure to highlight them. So as I did the other day, just a couple of things that I like to do um, before the day gets going. Kind of like to, not kind of like, but I do my reading and things of that nature. But this is something that I find that a lot of people are interested in today, as far as interest rates and things of that nature, especially if you're in or around associated with buying homes or doing loans for homes, things of that nature. Everybody wants to know where the rates are going. Well, one of the things that I have found to be a benefit to give you an idea, if you will, so you can be educated for yourself, is just understand the economic calendar, the reports that come out on a daily basis, monthly or quarterly basis, right? So I like this marketwatch.com for the layman, if you will. That's something that you want to do just to give you an idea of what's coming. And you'd be surprised that if you follow these things and begin to educate yourself, you will be less emotional about different headlines and things of that nature. Good morning to whoever that is. Again, let me know where you're watching from. Say hello. If not, good morning and have a great day. But you'll be surprised at how you'll become less emotional about things and really begin to understand what's happening, these narratives that are being presented before you, and ultimately be able to make the best decision for you and whoever it is that depends on you, your family, right? Or to provide information. So again, this week, as far as today is concerned, for those of us that are interested in the housing market here in the United States, new home sales are coming out. Not a big market mover, if you will, but gives you a indication of where things are going. So the previous print was 664. Okay, forecast at 680,000 as far as the new home sales are concerned. And this could be a little misleading, especially with new construction and things of that nature, because that's when people actually sign a contract. If you've purchased a home before, you know, especially new, could take 6, 8, 12 months to complete. So a lot of things can happen in between there, but this is a good indication. And the reason this is important as of 2024 is because last year and going into the end of 22, the number of listings on the market have been challenged, to say the least. So as we get ready to go into the home buying season, okay, here starting next month in spring, getting ready, anticipation for when school is out, The number of folks moving up, current homeowners putting their homes on the market. So it's a real good indication of what's going to go on. But that said, there's still going to be a significant decrease from the high a couple of years ago, 6 million or so sales. We're not going to see that. So um, I'm not too alarmed. I'm encouraged, if you will, to see the inventory starting to spike up. But it all is affected or associated with interest rates, right? So, anywho, good canary in the coal mine type data, if you will. As far as the nation is concerned, I mean, durable goods, orders, transportation, K Schiller index, this kind of an index. This is, to me, this is the kind of the stuff, This is the stuff that a lot of people like to run with, create a narrative to get attention. Most of the narratives are going to be negative because that's what most people are drawn to, and that's how these folks make their money, right? For advertisers, got to get your attention. Consumer confidence, I like that report because it gives a pulse of what's going on, just from a broad standpoint, regardless of what industry you're in. Wednesday, GDP, you know how we're doing as a nation, if you will. Trade balances, retailer retail inventories, wholesale inventories. Anytime someone from the Fed speaks, could be a market mover. You know what I mean? But Thursday, to me, is where the rubber meets the road when it comes to looking at this thing here, this 10-year that I tell you guys to look at, right? The 10-year. If you're interested and concerned about mortgage rates, it's not a one-to-one correlation. It's this coupled with these reports and the overall sentiment of the market. But this is a good indication of, where rates might be. Now, I find that in light of everything that's been going on, folks are more sensitive to the volatility in the rate changes, if that makes sense. Okay. The volatility, the up and down, because that causes uncertainty, right? Uncertainty is not necessarily it's never a good thing. It's not necessarily, it's never a good thing because you can't make a decision, i.e., if you're someone that's saying, hey, I have to move or I want to move, I need to get another property for whatever reason, the uncertainty of the interest rates for those that can afford is more detrimental than the higher rate. Because if I know what the rate is, I can plan because most sellers are going to be buyers as well. So that's very important. So again, this 10 years is something that you can really watch, monitor, and just from a 10,000 foot view, you really want this below 4%. Anytime this starts coming below 4%, we should start seeing more favorable rates. Now, even though it's above in some of the information that we got last week, okay, as far as the, let's see here, let's go back last week. Well, it's not going to go forward backwards, but it goes forward. But the CPI, right, was not as low, and in some areas it ticked up month over month. So, you know, there's a lot of negative comments and rhetoric and things of that nature. But when you really look at it, the market had already planned in a certain amount of Fed fund rate cuts. And so they're still talking about three. I always thought it was going to be around that number anyway. But here's the deal, none of us know. None of us knows. See, that's what nobody wants to tell you. Nobody knows. So it's about probabilities. I put a post, you know me, I just kind of throw things out there because I'm not special. But no guarantees. So for those of you out there that are watching these types of things, be leery of guarantee conversation. Be leery of folks that are speaking with a tone that implies that they know. because they don't know. We don't. We take probabilities. What's the probability, okay, of home prices going coming down to a level that is equivalent to 2008? That's how you got to look at it. What are the probabilities? What are the probabilities that whatever your favorite food item is coming back down? You see, so you have to understand the numbers. You have to understand the economy and inflation, silent tax, and then look over time and understand that prices don't come down. So a lot of folks, in my opinion, respectfully, that have been on a are in the mindset of I'm just coasting. Coasters are being challenged. We all are being challenged, right? Because this country is about production, facts. Okay, so anywho, that 10 year, man, that 10 year is something that you look still inverted. Okay, what they talk inverted? What's an inverted yield curve? Bottom line, the shorter end of the curve, the duration, okay, should be should be um, yielding. Okay, it should yield a smaller amount than the longer end because of inflation. Meaning, if I buy a 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, 1 year, 2 year bond or treasury note, I should make less money than if I lock my money up for 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 15, 20, or 30 years. Okay. So at the longer end of the yield curve, I should be making more money than at the shorter end. And then all the stuff with recessions and things of that nature, be honest with you, a lot of you guys are in a recession. You've been in one. You understand what I'm saying? Because production has been down for you for more than 2 quarters. So again, it's interesting. And these are some of the things that I look at to try to educate. Okay. And I'll give an example. Let me give an example. I spoke with a client last week, right? That was saying, hey, I want to buy. And I always try to get to the why. Why do you want to buy? And so all of the social the social uh, reasonings, the emotional reasonings come through. I want a gathering place for the family and or yard for my grandkids and things of that nature. All those things are great, right? But as I listen and we converse more, it came out that I'm a certain age and I look to retire at this age, which is not a long time in the future. And so my next logical question was, okay, well, what type of income, what kind of production do you plan on having in retirement? And in this case, it's 3 years from this year. Okay. And when that number came out, it matched what the proposed house payment was today. Makes no sense because most people, when they retire, their production comes down, their income is fixed, and it would have been 100% of the income. So, again, uh, when we look at certain things, or when you look at certain things, or not certain things, when you look at money, or if you look at buying a home, you want to understand not just today, but you always have to think of the exit strategy or what are my plans? I say it all the time. When you're dealing with real estate, it's long term. It's long term, right? And when I say long term, let's give some numbers. Today, depending on your down payment, okay, 9 years minimum, seven maybe. Let's say 7 years and beyond. So if you are looking at real estate in a shorter interval, you're really an investor and you're trying to grow And that's fine, but that's a different mindset, right? So again, for those of you that are out here looking or wanting to educate yourself, these are good reports. And as I got off of my point, Thursday is going to be a real good day for you to pay attention to, because we have initial jobless claims. Again, when you have less money in the economy, right? Folks have less money to spend for whatever reason. That tends to lower inflation, okay? Because you don't have a lot of money able to buy a certain good, and the goods are limited, okay? And so it tends to drive up the price. This time in history has proved a little different because the economy is resilient. I think it's because of what I am doing now, okay? The paradigm was shifted for real during the pandemic, because now a lot of folks can make money and not necessarily have to be tied to a corporate location. There's some YouTubers and things out here that are, folks are making money online. You may not be, but there are a lot of folks. Moreover, a lot of folks that have had jobs and things of that nature, they're getting severance pay, benefits, and coupled with government benefits and things of that nature. The runway is a lot longer. So, said all that to say, the economy is good. There's a lot of jobs that could be had. There could be an argument to, you know, are those jobs commiserate with an adult taking care of themselves and or a family? That's a case by case scenario. And in my opinion, that's where a lot of folks are missing the mark. Uh, you might have three jobs, but the key is you have a lot of debt. That's why I always talk to young folks: stay out of debt. You're not behind the eight ball. I was looking at, so I wasn't gonna show this, but this is kind of some of the stuff that I look at. Right? Let's check something out. Have you ever heard of the herding effect? The herding effect. Okay, herding effect is something that's you need to be aware of, right? Because you have companies and folks with a lot of money that are studying, okay? They're studying not only your sociological and physiological characteristics, okay? And there's something called the herding effect, okay? And just real quick, let me see here. Right here, it says, let's just start here. Until the advent of rational expectations theory, which asserts that independent, uh, autonomistic, and self-interested agents are rational in the sense that they do not make systematic mistakes and use all available information efficiently. Okay, so Keynes, right here, for example, has explained financial instability, particularly in stock markets and other outcomes of the sociological and physiological forces that dominate in uncertain times. So, won't bore you. What the summation is this: in times of uncertainty, people look for a herd. Uh, in my mind, it just popped up sheep. I watch a lot of nature type things, and you have folks that have farms and they have sheep and things of that nature, and they have those guardian dogs. But sheep tend to flock together. You know what I mean? That's why the wolves and things of that nature, it's easy to pick them off, but they cause confusion. So in times of uncertainty, there's a herding effect. And that's applicable even today. If you look and really understand what's going on, that's what a lot of the sources that you're watching, there's a lot of fear, confusion that causes you to want to herd. Meaning, now I'm looking for a hero or an idol. Well, this person, and you're not knowing this, but this person has been taught, or this This avatar is someone that you have been trained to trust. If it's a man, it's probably a certain height, a certain look, they speak a certain way. Okay. And so now there's uncertainty. I want to follow them. Okay. And it's like this. When you humble yourself, when you admit things, then you can learn. And so why is that important? Because it takes away your ability to think. But when you think and you make a decision, you have to be held accountable. A lot of us don't want to do that. I know you're like, well, Robert, man, I thought you would just, yeah, I do mortgages, but I deal a lot with people's psychology, i.e., the example I just gave, right? Why would you be buying a home if you're retiring in 3 years and the proposed house payment on this house is going to be equal to what your retirement income is in 3 years? Well, it's the herd effect. I've not done anything for all of this time. I don't know what to do, and people are telling me I should do this. Okay, and so I'm gonna follow these people instead of saying, you know what, that's probably not the best thing for me to do, or I need to lower that expectation because I still will have to pay for housing, but how can I do so in a way and matter that is beneficial and in doing so with the future me in mind, which is not into the most too long, not too far into the future. If you get there and say, okay, I'm going to have this money, I need to get my housing here if I can. So uncertainty, uncertainty. So again, that's why we go into those types of things. And that's why I try to understand and always educate myself on those things because you don't really care about the numbers. And it's really not about the interest rate. It's really not, especially in a developed country like ours. When you look at Maslow and that hierarchy chart, right? Down here at the bottom, the need. Okay, most of you guys are, if you're watching me, there's no need. Okay, uh, and although you may feel like it when you look globally, you'll understand what I'm saying. Okay, so you go from needing shelter, right? Um, then wanting wealth. Point I'm trying to make is most of us are buying for status, a status quo here in a Western or a developed type situation. You're not buying need because if it was need, you go to Mississippi and some of these other places where houses are $45,000. Okay, so when you understand that, then you can work backwards and say, okay, let me take status quo out. I have this house. Okay. That's why a lot of folks, a lot of young folks are saying that there's buyer's remorse. Well, how can you have buyer's remorse a year after you purchased a home? Well, you were buying a status. You had a herding effect, FOMO, and you saw somebody and they made it look a certain way, and you felt like, hey, this is what I should do. You never buy a house, uh, a bike, a pair of shoes. You don't buy anything that way. Do you understand the cost and the maintenance, the maintaining of it? Happens a lot with foreign cars as well, right? And then the newness wears off, okay? And now, hey, I'm hit with the realization that I have to make this payment over a long period of time. I like to help you understand those things sooner rather than later so that you can make an educated decision and less emotional. So anywho, uh, that's that. That's that. That's that. So I'm looking for a pretty good week. Been doing a lot of refinances here lately. If you are in a situation um, where you're sitting on some equity, you owe it to yourself to look into. You owe it to yourself to look into not paying off the first, okay, but utilizing the equity that you have to either better your position, buy that large purchase that you've been wanting to buy, okay, college funds, things of that nature, restructuring debt in the form of a second or a HELOC, home equity line of credit. You can hit the QR code on the screen and reach out to us. But a lot of a lot of HELOCs and seconds or cash outs we've been doing, and that's the deal, right? Everybody talks about equity, um, and there's a lot of insurance folks out here as well. That's exactly what they're talking about. And I'm not knocking insurance; it has its place. Uh, Owning a home or real estate has its place if you have the wherewithal to do so. Because I'm just having a lot of conversations and hearing a lot of people. Again, you might be 45 plus and you've been floating. You've been floating, right? And you're starting to feel it. And you don't have anything, okay, that has grown in equity. You don't have a business. You don't have any investments, right, that have grown in equity that you could either leverage or tap into. That's why I'm always a proponent of a home, just because on that needs, that hierarchy, foundation, shelters is there. So it's twofold if you could do it the right way. While you're paying it down, right? Pretty much it's gonna grow with the rate of inflation. Conservatively 3% a year. You see? Uh, and so when you buy right, doesn't matter the if there's any appreciation or not. Okay. Because you'll have something that's paid off that you can leverage against. That's the thing. It's the whole thing with the insurance, right? Uh, but to me, they don't do a good job letting you know that it takes time, right? And what are the probabilities of when things get tight or inflation gets high, like now, that you quit making that IUL payment that you said you were going to make because you felt like you can make it. You got herded into because of a look, because of some cars, because of a rapper or an entertainer, which you are none of, right? And they have different income situations that you don't have. They have a lot of surplus money. See, you have to think about those things. And at the end of the day, that's why it's directed towards a lot of younger folks. Because as a younger person, you have to realize this frontal lobe still being developed up until the age of 25. For men, I think 28, especially nowadays. Okay. So you need some guidance, you need some help in the right way. But you got to humble yourself first, right? And so, anywho, chi, that's what we doing, man. Stop by and say hello if you like. We'll be on for a few more minutes, then we got to get to it, man. If you are, I'll say this. If you are looking to close, you got to make sure you get with your lender, whoever that is, and make sure that they've locked you. Because a lot of folks got caught out uh, as a result of that CPI report a week or so, 2 weeks ago now, because the market, that 10 year that I speak about, right? It went from sub 4 to a little higher than we are now, and it's been fluctuating, kind of in that range. Um, but make sure that you're locked in and take advantage of the free second opinion, because I'm seeing those folks that are taking advantage of. A lot of you guys are getting hit with a lot of cost, and when you talk about affordability and things of that nature, um, when you're paying points and things of that when you're paying points and a lot of upfront funds, that money could be better spent. And moreover, do you know the recapture time, how long you need to live in the home, okay, if you pay upfront points, to make sure you're not losing that money? it's akin to refinancing, like a lot of people like to put out. And say you've been in the house 8 years and you refinance and you take it back to a 30-year term. You should never do that. Okay. Um, I'm going to be talking about VA IRRRLs, interest rate reduction loans, and FHA streamlines. But like with a VA IRRRL, that's some rules that were put in place because a lot of you veterans or folks with VA loans were taking advantage of with a process or a practice called churning, okay, and just refinancing you over and over again, telling you there's no cost, but they're just taking the equity and rolling it in and with some crazy fees. Those days are over. So now you got to have what 212 days and 6 payments made to do an interest rate reduction loan. But you also can't increase or go more than 10 years from wherever you are in time now. But again, you should always go the opposite way. You should always shorten your term on a refinance. And when folks say, hey, well, what's a good number? That's for you to decide. Typically, when you get a half of 1% or more in lowering of the rate, may be good for some of you guys to look at. Okay. But to my point, you want to look at that second opinion because a lot of these brokers that you guys love is breaking your back. They making almost 3 points on you guys. You feel me? And you don't understand that because you're not in the game. Okay. So uh, reach out, second opinion. Or just a regular loan scenario. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Let me see here. Before I get off of here, we got a few more minutes. Do do do. Few more minutes. Let's see what this Calendly looks like this week. Yeah, I made some changes to the Calendly. I'm charging y'all. Some of you guys are just egregious with it. It just takes a few, man. Some of you guys actually have loan officers uh, under contract calling me to ask me to basically do the loan officer job. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not getting back with you in a timely manner. We had to stop that foolishness. So you won't be disappointed, but yeah, my time is valuable and so is yours. So we I didn't make it to where it's not trying to make a living off of it, but it's really a stop, right? So if you just run around here stealing information, going from anybody that just will answer the phone, not gonna be able to do it anymore. But that said, man, oh yeah, we got some even today. Okay, gotta get ready. Um, but yeah, man, uh, that's why we do these videos and things of that nature to give you guys free information, and you can try to piece it together, or you could come directly to the source. That's typically the best way to do it. Typically, the best way to do it. If you're a business owner, I advise you to do the same thing. But make sure you actually have some value, man. Too much of us out here, too many folks out here selling stuff for free. Where you went on and you done a little reading and trying to hoodwink and bamboozle somebody. That's getting played too, and folks are getting hip to that. So if you're in the business, you know you'll know. You'll know. Your spidey senses will tell you, and then it's just a matter of choosing who it is that you resonate with, right? But check out the digital footprint. That's the beauty of these things. You don't have to. You don't have to be misled. You don't have to be misled. Let's see here. Do 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 do. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Uh. Do do do. It's almost spring break, I think, right? Yeah. There's a lot of good changes coming out, man. If you're a first time home buyer, woof, FHA is more than likely. the best avenue for you unless you're well qualified and you're at 80% of the area that you're living in, median income or less. You gotta check that home ready, home possible. Uh, that's the way to go, man. If not, you really need to entertain FHA. If you're putting 10% or more down, that's a way to make sure that the mortgage insurance premiums will fall off after 11 or so years of on time payments, kind of in line with conventional. If you don't want that private mortgage insurance, then you need to put 20 plus percent down. I'll tell you another thing too before I get off of here that I'm running into a lot. Uh, Now that there's a lot of information out here where you could quickly change your credit score, you have to understand a couple of things. And I spoke with a young lady Friday about this because she did some work. Credit scores are up, but getting a gift and looking for seller concessions. This is an FHA loan, and we still weren't getting the automated approve eligible, more so of a refer eligible. Here's the key, and this is I'm giving you guys some game. Even some of you loan officers out here, right? Because I know a lot of you guys watch, but you know me. You don't have. All you gotta do is call. I'll help you if I can, because somebody had to help me, right? Uh, but my point is this: your money, your skin in the game is the key. So when I restructured the deal and said, okay, this young lady has this amount of money, the same amount that it was getting from a gift, but it was from her funds in essence. Hey, this is what's in my checking account. Moreover, this typically tends to be the magic number for me. 3 months PITI. For those of you that are in the business, you should know what that means. But after consummation, after closing, after everything's said and done, the asset statements have at least 3 months of the principal, interest, tax, insurance payment in that person's possession, coupled with them bringing their own funds to close, not from a gift. Those refer eligibles get changed to approved eligibles, right? And that's huge because, like this part, we do refer eligibles all the time, but the key with refer eligibles is you have to have rental history. And a lot of you guys don't have rental history. You're either living with family, which is not a problem, but what I would say is pay family some money. A lot of you guys might be buying groceries and things of that nature. Whatever it is, have it documented. Uh, Meaning, if it's someone, a family member or something of that nature, even if it's cash up or however you do it, every month consistently at the same time, the same payment going over. Well, that's rental history now. If it's a traditional type situation, cool. Because I'm also starting to see a lot of overlays or rule or guideline updates, especially with down payment assistance programs, where they don't want you to exceed 1.5 times what you're currently paying in rent. If you do, it's fine, but you have to have a certain amount of reserves. And guess what that number is? 3 months. You're welcome. You're welcome. So, yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. Office hours. You guys go out and have a great start to the work week. Uh, Add value to your clients, man. Add value. If we could be of assistance, let me throw that out here. Let me put this screen back up. Yeah, man. If you want a loan scenario, reach out. If you want a second opinion, reach out. Get on the calendar. Because we're about that time. You know what? One other fun fact. Where did I see this at? Where did I see this at? Uh, where did I see this at? Let me see here. Uh, in Texas, bottom line, there were like 55,000 folks with MLO licenses. That's down to like 35,000. So I'm seeing the same thing that we went through. I went through from 2008 to 2012. It's a cleanse. right? So, uh, hopefully, you've been doing the right things with your finances, resources, and things of that nature. Hopefully, you've built a book of business and relationships where you can stay in business during this cycle because business is cyclical. And if that's the case, man, educate yourself, add real value. And value is not I'm a loan officer, bring me money. No, that's not you. You thirsty, right? Don't be thirsty. Add real value, work on your craft, and you'll be around. You'll be around. Yah willing, Lord willing. So, hey man, that's the office hours for this morning. I'm about to get to it. Shout out to everybody that stopped through. Have a great wait. Not wait. Have a great week. And again, if we could be of assistance, man, reach out. Reach out. Here you go. Loan scenario and or second opinion. We'll holler at y'all later.